Now the next one, unit 5. So facilities for exporters and importers. Okay? So here we have like some important areas: export credit, import credit. That is very important area. So many times you'll see question around this one, and even this up export data processing and monitoring system and import data processing and monitoring system. This get asked in your previous examination itself. Okay? This import data processing monitoring system. Okay? Exchange and trade control guidelines, facilities for exporters, gold card scheme also, and diamond dollar accounts should be also part of this particular one. Okay? Exchange trade control for importer and all. Okay? Maximum time you'll see question around the exporters things, but will not have that kind of mindset. You have to study both, and we have some case studies on export finance also. That's why we feel ki maximum time they ask question around the export finance itself, right? So regulations, if it comes to the regulations, we have three major ministries. Okay? But if you talk about the institutions, we have RBI, who generally take care around the currency things or the documentation parts, and the trade policies are generally decided by the DGFT, okay? Director General of Foreign Trade. Okay? So DGFT, who is generally responsible for deciding the India's trade policy, EXIM import आपका EXIM policy, basically import export policy, and DGFT which generally work under the your Ministry of Commerce and Industries, Government of India. RBI, which is responsible for the documentation part and currency part in this particular portion itself. Okay? So regulation of exports, FEMA, RBI have given right under FEMA, but this thing will also get in detail. You will see in your role of FEMA, FEDI, and all these kind of things. So if you'll study that particular portion, if you'll ignore this particular portion also, that will work. Okay? ICC, which generally work as an apex institutions, which generally decide different like UCP 600. Apart from this, we have URC 522, we have URDZ 758, and also these are international trade related things or the international relation related things which generally get decided by the international chambers of commerce. Okay? Foreign Exchange Dealers Association of India, that is something like it is a self-regulatory organization. Yesterday only we talk around this one, which generally help these your authorized dealers and others. They are part of this particular institution, and if they are facing some sort of challenges, to resolve those challenges, that is the primary responsibility of this one. If you specifically come to the trade portion, we have three ministries. One is Ministry of Finance, another one is Commerce and Industry, and Electronic and IT. Okay? So they are kind of a governing bodies for the international trade. So Ministry of Finance, where we have RBI and CBIC. Okay? Authorized dealer 1, 2, 3, they are generally part of this one. Okay? And this DGFT, Director General of Foreign Trade, which generally comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, which they generally do. RBI generally regulate the exchange or take care around the documentation things and all. What will require at the time of remittances, तो import export की जो payments होंगे उनके regarding जो guidelines होंगे, that is decided by this. कहाँ पे कितना import होगा, क्या import हो सकता है, क्या अदर रूल्स आपके रहेंगे इंपोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट के, दैट जनरली गेट डिसाइडेड बाय डीजीएफटी आपका. ठीक है, अब डीजीएफटी अलोंग विद एसईपीसी. ठीक है, एसईपीसी इज आपका सॉफ्टवेयर एक्सपोर्ट प्रमोशन काउंसिल. ठीक है, दिस इज फॉर गुड्स एंड दिस इज फॉर सर्विसेज. एंड एसटीपीआई आपका विच जनरली कम्स अंडर दिस, दैट इज सॉफ्टवेयर टेक्नोलॉजी पार्क ऑफ इंडिया. ठीक है, so for goods, for services and for software. ठीक है, so that generally comes under this entire classification as well, right? Now, while we do exports, okay, let's say as an exporter, if you are, there was one direct question based on this particular part, very important one. Okay? So let's say as an exporter, if you are exporting something from India, or as an importer, you are importing something from outside India. Okay? So you have first to register yourself, you have to do some sort of registration with DGFT. Okay? So Directorate General of Foreign Trade के साथ you have to take one number that is known as EIC number. ठीक है, exporter importer code. ठीक है, that is called exporter importer code. Importer exporter code, IEC आपका. ठीक है, IEC code. So this number is must आपका. ठीक है, your every trade आपका, either it is import or export, that will be linked with this particular one, and this is generally provided by DGFT, ठीक है, DGFT will issue this particular one, ठीक है, डायरेक्टरी जनरल ऑफ फॉरेन ट्रेड, ठीक है. सो अगर आप इंडिया से कोई भी इंपोर्ट करो या एक्सपोर्ट करो, आप उस बिजनेस में इन्वॉल्व हो रहे हो, सो यू हैव टू हैव टेक वन कोड फ्रॉम DGFT, दैट इज योर आपका IEC नंबर, ठीक है. एंड यू एवरी टाइम यू विल डू एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ ट्रेड एंड ऑल, सो यू हैव टू use this particular number. This will work as a PAN number. जैसे हमारे लिए आपका for LRS, the basically with that particular one, authorized dealers or other regulatory bodies, they keep our data, so that is PAN number. Similarly for importer exporters, this number works, okay. So every person, firm or company engaged in export imports trade has to apply for IEC number with DGFT, okay. This is a registration number of firm, company or international trade, for international trade, and the exporter importer has invariably code this numbers and at the in all declaration form, okay. Let's say if you are doing export, so you have to fill the export declaration form, okay. So in that export declaration form, your transactions will be monitored through this IEC numbers, okay. Every time whenever you do the import exports, that will be part of this one, okay. So we have export declaration form, export declaration, like in case of LRS remittances, we have that form A2. I hope you guys remember that particular one. When we do investments abroad, outside India, form ODI we have taken. So similarly for export things or for import things, for export we use आपका export declaration form आपका, ठीक है. So export basically we have two areas, like let's say how you'll go with this one, ठीक है. So any exporter, they'll connect to the authorized dealers category 1 bank and they have to fill this particular form. That is, the form name is export declaration form, okay. So export declaration form, this look like something like this. Export declaration, name, exporter name, address, then authorized dealers address and all, okay. Signature and address of this and this is. So then we have purpose code, invoices, numbers, and every details which is generally part of this particular one. So section 7, subsection 1, subsection 3 of FEMA, all export of goods from India, whether in physical or any other form, okay. For physical, for goods we have export declaration form, EDF, form EDF. For software we have Softex, okay. In case of software we use one form that is known as Softex, software export, okay. Apart from softwares we use EDF. So declare this particular one will be realized in this area, basically this is mentioned here. So EDF form आपका export other than the software made by all modes, and Softex आपका which we generally use for the export of softwares आपका, ठीक है, non-physical basis. So they are generally categorized in this one. Please do remember these two forms आपका, their uses also, ठीक है. It is similar to your form A2 or form ODI or form ECB. So these are the similar one, but the purpose of these particular one is different. Okay, if you are doing foreign investment as an individual, you have to fill the form ODI. If you are as an individual, you are remitting money abroad for education purpose, you have to fill form form A2. If you are raising funds from outside India through ECB, so you have to fill the form that is called form ECB आपका, ठीक है. That will help you to get the LRN number also. So with the introduction of electronic data interchange system, a certain custom officers where shipping bills are processed electronically. So this exchange declaration form also, that is like nowadays most of these custom offices also, they are generally part of the online things and all. Okay, so they have to report all these particular things in the online things. This is a very simple one. If you go through these areas, we'll be able to understand these particular one. Okay, now following are the areas where we do not have to fill the export declaration form आपका, ठीक है. So these are the areas where you do not have to fill the EDF form. Okay, this get asked so many times, so you have to remember these particular one. Okay, trade sample of goods and publicity material supplied free of payment. So let's say you are sending some samples to other country for free. So in that case, you do not have to fill the EDF form. Okay, so that is the one. Personal effect of travelers, whether accompanied or unaccompanied. Okay, so if you are moving or if you are carrying some goods and all, that is also not required. Ship stores, transshipments, cargoes, and goods shipped under the order of central government, such as officers as may be appointed by the central government in on behalf of the military, naval or others. So like sometime we do some sort of charity आपका, ठीक है? Let's say we provided some aid to some other countries, so that order is passed by the government, central governments. In that case also we do not have to we do not require this EDF, ठीक है? By way of gift of goods accompanied by the declaration by the exporter that they are not more than 5 lakh rupees, ठीक है? So if you are giving gift to someone else in the abroad and the gift value is less than 5 lakh, again not required. Aircraft or aircraft engine and spare parts for overhauling and repair, so that is also they'll get re-imported again. So let's say we purchase Rafale from Russia. If we are sending them for the repair purpose in Russia, so and then after the repairments they'll come back to India, again not required. Even sometime also, let's say we have done some exports to other countries and there are some defective piece. Now we are sending, let's say we got an order of 1 lakh. Out of 1 lakh, 10,000 or let's say 10,000 markers they got defective while they reached to any other country or the destination country. So in that case also, when we are resending those 10,000s, that will not required and we are not charging any amounts. We have to declare those kind of things. So they are generally part of this particular one. Okay? Replacement goods exported free charge in accordance with the provision of foreign trade policy. Replacement आपका, ठीक है? As I gave an example of this marker, goods sent outside India for testing are subject to re-import into India. Export permitted by Reserve Bank of India on application made to it, subject to term and conditions and all. So that is generally part of this particular one. ठीक है? Alright guys, यहाँ तक clear है सबको? So these are some exemptions and they get asked so many times. So please be careful around these one. Okay? Now facilities for exporters. Basically, आपका credit facilities for exporters. So we have pre-shipments and we have post-shipments. Two type of facilities are there. Pre-shipments where the credit facilities are generally provided for up to 90 days of a period. These are something related to the packaging things and all. So they also known as packing credits and all. So export credits, this is the basic things. So we have pre-shipments advances to exporters and we have post-shipments. So we can, as a bank or these exporters, they can avail two type of facilities from the bank. One is pre-shipments, which is known as packing credit. Another one is post-shipments. After shipments, when they have that receivables and all, on the basis of those receivables, they can take money. And apart from this also, they do have factoring, forfeiting services to meet to deal with their working capital requirements and all. Okay? So when it comes to the pre-shipments, it is also known as packing credit loan, which is generally for working capital advances allow for a specific purpose of procuring, processing, manufacturing of goods meant for export. It could cover all costs prior to the shipment of finished good, like packing, local transportation and all. The borrowers is a bank customer conditions. They should have export import numbers, IEC numbers. Their name should not appear in the caution list of RBI. They should not be under the specific approval list of ECGC. They have the capacity to execute the order within stipulated time duration, and KYC guidelines are compiled with. So these are the conditions. So if any exporters, if they are applying for the pre-credit shipments, so these are the guidelines. They have to meet with these particular guidelines. This is generally let's say you got an order, you have to supply 1 lakh markers within 90 days. So now you have to manufacture, you have to purchase raw material, or you have to pay the basic utility expenses or the rent or the employee's salary and all. So to meet with these kind of requirements, exporters or basically working capital, short-term working capital requirements, they can take loan under the pre-shipments category and all. Okay? If it is आपका post shipments, so post shipments basically it is, let's say if that deal is backed by the LC, so they can discount that particular bills receivables, okay? And even in some cases they can directly take loan from the banks if they haven't applied for the pre-shipment. अगर उन्होंने pre-shipment आपका नहीं लिया है तो उस केस में भी there is some eligibility criteria, so they can go with the आपका post shipment. So no PCL pre-credit आपका pre what is this called here? Packing credit loan. No packing credit loan have been availed by him against the same order or LC from the other banks. Bank should call for credit reports status. Exporter should submit stock statements for goods on on which PCL has been allowed. If the export are covered under letter of credit, bank would need to satisfy about the standing of क्रेडिट ओपनिंग बैंक्स, ठीक है, जो भी बैंक आपका जिसने वो एलसी इशू किया है उसकी क्रेडिट वर्दनेस को टेस्ट किया जा सकता है. बैंक में ऑल्सो लुक इनटू द रेगुलेशंस एंड द पॉलिटिकल एंड फाइनेंशियल कंडीशंस of the buyer's country as well, ठीक है, so to mitigate any kind of risk as well. So this is आपका, ठीक है. Post shipment finance can be in various type, like basically advances against a bill sent on collection, ठीक है. So let's say we received that like let's say we have done that shipments. Now the date on LC is आपका 90 days, so that means we are going to receive that money after 90 days. So that is something. Advances against export consignment basis आपका, ठीक है, we are doing regular exports, we are getting regular updates आपका, ठीक है. So on an open account basis we can have this kind of arrangement with bank. Advances again undrawn balances आपका, ठीक है. Undrawn balances is something, let's say we have received some prepayments, the remaining amounts, or even it is something around the government refundable taxes आपका, ठीक है. So that can be, हाँ, it is mentioned here, ठीक है. Drawdown against duty drawbacks, duty drawbacks provided by the government itself. So they generally comes under this particular one. PMS, this is the software which is basically we have EDPMS and IDPMS. This is a software which is accessible to the authorized dealers, ठीक है. तो जितने भी authorized dealers आपके होते हैं, they have to report things on this particular platform on daily basis whenever they are doing or they are providing any sort of credit to the exporters and all, ठीक है. तो EDMS का एक EDPMS is a software, basically it gets launched or introduced by RBI in 2014. Similarly we have IDPMS also, ठीक है, import data processing and monitoring system. तो एक जहां पे हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, एज अ authorized dealers, whatever transactions we are doing with the exporters and importers, we are uploading on this particular platform. जैसे if there are some sort of irregularities in the payments and all, we are updating that particular one also. So RBI can put those importers and exporters in the caution list, ठीक है. तो उनको कहीं ना कहीं caution list में आपका जाना डाला जा सकता है, ठीक है. या अगर कोई ऑलरेडी आपका caution list के अंदर है तो उसको आपका उसकी जो अभी रिसेंट में जो एक्टिविटीज हैं उसकी वजह से उसको डी कॉशन में डाला जा सकता है, ठीक है. कॉशन लिस्ट इज बेसिकली इफ सम एक्सपोर्टर इज डीलिंग विद सम एक्सपोर्ट्स एंड ऑल एंड देयर आर सम इरेगुलरिटीज इन पेमेंट्स और उनके द्वारा they are not fulfilling the commitments and all, so that is something related to that particular one, ठीक है. So they asked one question around this one, very easy one, very आपका this will help you in both आपका IDPMS और EDPMS both, ठीक है. So 2014 RBI, this is the online program for all banks to record export transactions with them online. RBI can increase the transparency of record of dollar payments flow between India and abroad also, ठीक है. So this is one another purpose which get fulfilled through this particular platform. Authorized dealers bank can access the updated list of caution listed exporters through EDPMS, ठीक है, on daily basis. RBI will caution and decaution the exporters based on the recommendations of authorized bank. Authorized dealers may forward its findings to the concerned regional offices of RBI, recommending inclusion of the name of the exporter in the caution list. The guidelines require bank to record advance remittances received for exporters in EDPMS. Bank also required to record old outstanding advances received. Okay? If they are receiving some old outstanding balances and all, again they have to record in this particular platform. Okay? Next one, we have gold card scheme. Again, this is very important one. Okay? This get asked so many times. So gold card scheme is generally for the वैल्यू एक्सपोर्टर्स. ठीक है, ऐसे एक्सपोर्टर्स जिनका क्रेडिट वर्थिनेस इज वेरी हाई एंड दे हैव अ वेरी गुड ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड ऑल्सो. ठीक है, तो ऐसे एक्सपोर्टर जिनका ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड बहुत अच्छा है. ठीक है, सो दे आर जनरली पार्ट ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर वन. ठीक है, सो बेसिकली दे आर like they got some sort of concession. ठीक है, like rate of interest at lower rate, they get fast approval process and all. तो कहीं ना कहीं अगर आप एक अच्छे exporter हो, you'll get some sort of benefit from our banks. That is generally, and nowadays bank they generally offer some additional services on this gold card also. ठीक है, so based on the indication made by the governments and all, this is the one. ठीक है, so basically this is the very important area. Again, very important, huh, for all of us. All creditworthy exporters, including those in small and medium sector with a good track records, would be eligible for issue of gold card scheme by individual bank as per criteria to laid down by the letter. Gold card scheme, under the scheme may issue all eligible exporters, including those in the small and medium sectors who satisfy these conditions. The scheme will not be applicable of exporters blocklisted by ECGC or having overdue bill excess of 10% of the previous year turnovers. Very important statement पहला. ठीक है, ये statement is very important. Gold card holders, exporters, depending on their track records and credit worthiness, will be granted a better term and conditions, increasing the extended other one. Bank would clearly specify the benefit they would be offering on gold card schemes and all. ठीक है, some other आपका the sanction, this 20% वाला area, हाँ, this is the one. So the sanction and renewal of the limit under the scheme will be based on the simplified procedures to be decided by the banks. In principle, limit will be a sanction for a period of 3 years. Please do remember this one also. With a provision for automatic renewal subject to fulfillment of term and condition of the bank. Standby limit not less than 20%. ये सबसे अच्छा benefit है इसका, and this get asked whenever they'll ask question around the gold card scheme. Whenever they'll give you the multiple statement, this will be part of that particular one. Very important. Okay. Not less than 20% of assessed limit may be additionally made available to the to facilitate urgent credit needs. Let's say we have issued gold card scheme, gold card to any exporter worth rupees 1 crore. Okay? So they have a standby limit of 20% also. Okay? That means if they need some sort of urgent money, they have to, amounting 1 crore 20 lakhs, so they can use that particular one by using this particular card itself. So that is the benefit. Okay? Gold card holders would give preferences in the matter of granting packaging credit loan also, pre-shipment loans. Bank would consider waiver of collateral and exemption from ECGC insurance on the basis of cardholders credit worthiness and track record. The facility of further value addition आपका, which is decided by the issuing bank. ठीक है, आज के डेट में हमारे बैंक्स मतलब लाइक ज़्यादातर गोल्ड कार्ड होल्डर्स हमारे बैंक के हो. फॉर दैट वी जनरली प्रोवाइड सम एडिशनल services like insurance and all, which are generally part of this particular one. ठीक है, so this is again very important one. So please do remember this one. Factoring and forfeiting, these are two additional ways through which basically exporters they can arrange their working capital, right? So I hope everybody knows around these particular one. Okay? So factoring is basically where our bank is work as a factor, and all the transaction of that particular exporter is done through our bank with the help of an open accounts. Open accounts means मतलब जैसे let's say there is a XYZ exporter, उस XYZ exporter के जितने भी exports आपके हो रहे हैं तो उन सबको डिस्काउंट करने का काम हम लोग करें. एंड ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ एक्सपोर्टर्स we are also managing the ledger accounts of that the different exports and all. Okay? So we are becoming a helping hand, and we generally discount at 75 to 80% to each and every bill. Okay? मतलब let's say they did a sale of 1 lakh rupees, export of 1 lakh rupees. So we immediately provide 75 to 80,000 rupees to the exporter so they can prepare for they can prepare another export. Okay, so we generally say कि you focus on export, rest things will be taken care by our bank. It can be with or without recourse in case of factoring. Our bank work as a factor. The another one is forfeiting. In case of forfeiting, basically this is not like forfeiting is always backed by LC. It is mostly it is non-recourse basis. There is no collateral or guarantees required because it is already backed by the LC itself. Okay? And it is bank to bank. Okay? Let's say there is an exporter who did one transaction with your bank and it get discounted 100%. Okay? Let's say the receivable is 1 lakh. So we ask for the 5% commission. So we'll pay 95,000 to the आपका exporter. Now it is entirely our responsibility to recover that particular one or to manage that account ledger and all, debt management, everything. Okay? So the difference is आपका in case of factoring, all the transaction of that exporter we are doing as a on a open account basis. But in case of forfeiting, they are doing one transaction with our banks, another transaction with some other banks. Okay? It is a single time transaction with the exporter and all. Okay? So that is something related to this particular one. That is discounting basically. Okay? So these are the alternatives आपका apart from that export credit. So first is आपका factoring. Okay? You can go with this particular one, but it is immediate financing up to 75 to 80% of the invoice value. No need for LC. Thus saving cost for the importers. It is generally on open account basis. All the transaction of that particular exporter is done by one factor. Credit check on importers or buyers. These are the additional services which are generally provided by factor to the exporters. Sales ledger maintenance is done by factor. Credit protection on all approved debtors limit. Advisory services for new areas and countries. So basically exporters, they get these many benefits with the factoring services. Okay? So debt administration, credit protections, financing and others. Forfeiting आपका, in case of forfeiting, it is a kind of one-time transaction with the exporter where we are discounting 100% of bill, right? So take away political and commercial risk associated with the export receivables. It is always without recourse, but factoring can be with or without recourse. Okay? Please do remember this statement also. Make 100% make available 100% finance against invoice drawn without a recourse facility. There is no guarantee required from the exporters. आपका freedom from credit administration and follow-ups, that is done by the financer. Cost saving on exporters, credit insurance beside related paperwork, fixed rate financing, freedom from movement of interest rate for the tenures of the bill itself. So one time you are getting the payments and you are exiting from that deal. Okay? This is as simple as that. As an exporter, I have done some export worth rupees 10 lakh. Now I approaches to your bank. This is the amount which I'm going to receive after 90 days and this is the LC. So in that case, we negotiated. It is something like that trades platform. Okay? We have trades platform for MSMEs na, similar to this one. Okay? So we had a negotiation where you ask for the 5% commission. So the remaining, after the 5%, you gave me the remaining amounts and then the relation between me and you is over. Okay? Now everything will be taken care by your bank as a financer in that particular situation itself, right? Parties under factoring and parties under forfeiting. Pujisha, like parties under factoring and forfeiting, see, we do not have any exact classification of for this particular one. I never read around this particular thing basically. Maybe I missed that portion, but what I know, okay, it is like if you're asking about the names, so bank, in case of factoring, bank work as a factor and the another one is exporter. In another case, in case of forfeiting, they call forfeiter or the financer. Bank is generally known as forfeiter or as a financer. If you are asking with the same direction or you asking something else. Rest things are like we do not have any categorization like in bill of exchange we have 3 parties, promissory note we have 2 parties. We do not have that kind of classification as per my knowledge. That factor, your bank is known as factor in case of factoring, and in case of forfeiting it is known as forfeiter or आपका financer. That is these are the name given to this particular one. If I'm missing something, please do let me know. So this is the differentiation. Very, very important. I have differentiated this particular one. So this can help you to revise things quickly, right? So factor is a short-term transaction where forfeiting is a medium to long-term. Factoring can be done with or without recourse, although forfeiting is usually without recourse. Factoring is applicable for both foreign and domestic, but forfeiting is generally for international. Factoring is appropriate for ongoing open account sales that are not backed by LC or accepted by bill of exchange, whereas forfeiting appropriate for one-time transactions. Factoring necessitate continuing arrangement between the factor and customer. Factor means your bank and customer is exporter, in which all sales are routed by the factor, but forfeiting does not necessitate the seller routing others business through the forfeiter. Forfeiter is financier or the bank. Okay? Deal are closed transaction by transaction in this particular case. Okay? Understood? So these are the areas. This is again very, very important part, guys. So many times you will see the question around this particular portion. So you have to be very careful, right? Now export related things aapka, theek hai, and that will not take much time. Okay? So a regulation for importers, importers. So we have done with the exporters. So again same, we have DGFT for the import regulations. Then we have RBI, same with the similar guidelines and all. They also required IEC, importer exporter code for any kind of import. Okay? Whenever they'll enter into a import things, they have to put this particular numbers. Okay? Approved commodities aapka by the DGFT itself. Okay? Then import finance. This is something new where we have buyer's credit and seller's credit that get asked so many times. Okay? So import letter of credit, this is very simple. Importers, they are asking for any kind of letter, they are applying for any kind of LC aapka. Okay? Trade credits, this is important. Supplier credit or buyer credit. I hope everybody knows about this particular one. If you do not know, please pay your attention. This is important because so supplier credit aapka. Supplier credit is a credit directly extended by overseas supply. This is something, let's say you are doing some sort of business. Let's say you are manufacturing these markers and you want to increase your sale outside India, or let's say you are a US citizen or US businessman, you want to expand your sale in India, and I'm a buyer from a distributor of markers in India or in Indian market. So now you approaches me ki if you sell our product in Indian market, so you'll get these many benefits in all other things. But the problem with me is I do not have that much of money, so I can purchase your product. So that problem is get solved by your company. You are telling me कि we will provide you finance amount आपका, ठीक है, you will give you the money to sell that particular one. Once you done with that sale, then you can refund us the money and all. Okay? Eventually, we are expanding our business in India, and for a time period, we are selling our product on credit, then we are getting back money, right? So supplier credit directly extended by the overseas supplier of goods to importer. As domestic market, in international market also, the payment terms are either straight or credit. The period of credit normally depend on the necessity for the exporter and importers to this business. The period suppliers renewed from the shipments is 3 years. For non-capital goods, आपका period can be up to 1 year, or the preparing cycle for this. Okay? So that is supplier credit, where supplier is helping. Buyer credit आपका, ठीक है, buyer credit, ठीक है. So buyer credit, it is simple as a term loan, bank loan. We are taking loan, we are manufacturing, we are selling, then we are repaying. ठीक है. So buyer credit is credit arranged by the importer buyer for a नहीं मतलब आपका let's say LC आपका, let's say I have to import some raw material from some other country, so I'm taking some loan from the bank. ठीक है, it is something like this. Outside the country to settle the payment of imports. In short term, it is a credit arranged by the buyers to settle import payments irrespective of the period of credit and all. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay? So sometimes we got confused between the buyers and suppliers credit. So please do take care around this one. Okay? बहुत आसान question था ये. First of all, DGFT statement 1. Those who are saying C and D आपका, ठीक है? और किसी ने बी भी बोला है क्या? नहीं, ऑल आर करेक्ट। डी तो आपका गेस वर्क किया, जिन्होंने भी बोला ऑल आर करेक्ट। हाउ दिस इज करेक्ट? आपका डीजीएफटी वर्क अंडर द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस। डीजीएफटी वर्क अंडर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस? नो, डीजीएफटी वर्क अंडर द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड ऑल, कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्री, ठीक है। It comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. First of all, this is wrong. So two major bodies, आपका three ministries, ठीक है, they generally involve in this particular one. एक चार्ट के थ्रू हमने समझा था. So DGFT which generally decide the EXIM policy, export import policy जो होती है इंडिया की, वो ये बनाता है, DGFT आपका बनाता है, which work under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. तो पहला गलत है. फिनेंस, बाकी और सारे ये सही है, ठीक है, ऑल स्टेटमेंट्स आर ट्रू. जैसे आपका the documentation part and others which get handled by RBI under FEMA, this export control and others, ठीक है. So controlled regulations and trade control regulations आपका, ठीक है, exchange control regulation in our import exports related to EXIM इसके अंदर आते हैं, ठीक है. The इनको टर्म्स आपका ये हमने अभी डिस्कस किया. The Foreign Exchange Dealer Association of India is a self-regulatory organization, that is also correct. तो 2 3 4 5 2 3 4 5 आपका, अच्छा 2 3 4 5 है ही नहीं इसमें, कुछ गड़बड़ कर रहे हैं क्या हम लोग? हमें हमें क्या ढूंढना था? करेक्ट आपका. देन दैट मींस आई हैव टू चेक दिस पर्टिकुलर वन अगेन, ठीक है. कोई ऐसा स्टेटमेंट जो मैं यहाँ पे गड़बड़ कर रहा हूँ गाइस? ये तो 100% गलत है. एक्सपोर्ट फैसिलिटेट द गवर्न बाय द रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, दिस इज टू. एक्सचेंज कंट्रोल, अच्छा ओके, हाँ ये क्वेश्चन, ये स्टेटमेंट गलत है. एक्सचेंज कंट्रोल रेगुलेशन बाय आरबीआई, ये होना चाहिए था आरबीआई. एंड ट्रेड कंट्रोल रेगुलेशन आपका डीजीएफटी, ठीक है, डीजीएफटी, ठीक है, ये आपका होना चाहिए था. यस, दिस स्टेटमेंट इज ऑल्सो रॉन्ग, सॉरी. तो अब 245 आपका, ठीक है, 245 सी शुड बी राइट आंसर फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर वन. करेक्ट है? यस, हाँ, थर्ड स्टेटमेंट इज रॉन्ग. एंड व्हाई दिस इज रॉन्ग? बिकॉज वी हैव, ये हमने बात किया ना इसमें और इसमें, ठीक है, दीज टू आर, इन दोनों स्टेटमेंट का कॉम्बिनेशन है आपका ये, ठीक है. सो स्टेटमेंट थर्ड इज ऑल्सो रॉन्ग एंड सी विल बी राइट आंसर फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर वन. बिल्कुल सही आपका, ठीक है, करेक्ट है. सो स्टेटमेंट वन एंड स्टेटमेंट आपका थ्री, दीज टू आर इनकरेक्ट. Exchange control regulation governed by RBI and आपका trade are generally by DGFT. First one, it work under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, ठीक है. So DGFT comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry आपका, ठीक है. चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Next one, Mr. Sharma run a business engaged in exporting various goods and software from India. He recently exported these items, considering FEMA guidelines and export declaration form requirements. Identify which of the following statement is correct regarding the compliance and documentations Mr. Sharma must follow. चलो बताओ क्या होगा आंसर दोस्तों? Okay, Fujisha ma'am is saying option A, Mr. Sharma must submit EDF from the physical goods and soft text from the for the software goods. No form are required for the train samples and personal effect. हाँ ये याद है आपको Fujisha ma'am? We discussed this particular one during the concept class आपका, ठीक है. During the concept class we discussed this particular one. Yes, very good guys, awesome, very good, ठीक है. So in even अभी कुछ देर पहले भी हमने इसके ऊपर बात किया था. EDF is generally for physical goods and Softex for the आपका software, ठीक है. So other than software we generally use EDF. No form are required for trade samples and personal effect. Even sometime कोई आपका डिफेक्टिव पार्ट्स ऑफ आपका एयरलाइंस या जो एयरक्राफ्ट से उनके रिप्लेसमेंट, या फिर आपका देयर इज सम, लेट्स से वी हैव मेड सम सेल out, if we send something for sampling purpose or the others also, so they generally comes under this. So option A, without any doubt, it will be right answer for this particular. Very good, awesome guys. Chalo, which of the following statement are correct about the prescribed method of payments for export proceed and Asian clearing union mechanism as per FEMA regulation, ठीक है. So this Asian clearing mechanism get asked last year also, ठीक है, पिछले साल भी इसके ऊपर आपका एक क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था, ठीक है. So what will be your correct answer? We have to find out the correct statement, ठीक है. So prescribed methods of payments for export proceed को कहाँ पे means, let's say आपका हाउ विल डील विद दैट पर्टिकुलर मनी, ठीक है, कैसे उनका हैंडलिंग होगा, एंड एसीयू का रोल आपका दैट जनरली गेट आस्क इन दिस पर्टिकुलर वन. Okay, so what will be your correct answer, guys? What will be your correct answer? Yes, हाँ. So we have two wrong statement here. First this and second one is this. ठीक है? So Bhutan receipt of payments in Indian rupee are allowed. It should be allowed. ठीक है? And export proceeds. Nepal is member of ACU आपका, ठीक है, routed through the ACU currency settlement arrangement as Nepal is a participating this. ठीक है? So export proceed from Nepal must be routed through the ACU currency. ऐसा कोई जरूरी नहीं है, ठीक है. So and other statements are correct to relate to this one. ठीक है, तो 1 2 4 should be right answer for this one. ठीक है, 1 2 4. Yes, हाँ, D must be right answer for this one. Very good. Yes, हाँ, everyone guys, very good. So statement 3, although Nepal is member of this, it is specifically exempted from the ACU currency settlement agreements. Export proceed from Nepal may be received in Indian rupee or a free exchange in permitted by Nepal banks. ठीक है, and export from Bhutan payments received can be made in Indian rupee as well. ठीक है, remaining statements are correct related to this one. Next one. Which of the following statement about agency commission and reduction in invoice value for exporters are correct? So agency commission and reduction in invoice value for exports are correct. क्या होगा आंसर? What will be your right answer, guys? आराम से, कोई जल्दबाजी नहीं है. Just go through the statements, try to build your understanding. ठीक है, पायल मैम, very very good evening. You are late, हाँ, you are late about 50 minutes. So please do watch the previous 50-minute video just after the session. ठीक है, got your answer, guys? Got your answer? What will be your correct answer? Anyone who want to answer this question? ठीक है, see, agency commission on export can be allowed either in by the remittance or deduction from the invoice. 100% true. There is no issue with this. Commission must be declared in EDF or आपका SoftX. ठीक है, that is also allowed. ठीक है, reduction in invoice value for cash discount on repayments of Hussein's bill is allowed only if it does not exceed 25%. ठीक है, यहाँ पे क्या होना चाहिए था? 25% of the invoice value. ठीक है, does not exceed 25% of the invoice value. The reduction invoice value can be approved by authorized dealers if the exporter satisfactory track records of 3 years. True आपका, ठीक है, and the outstanding export is less than 5% of average annual exports. ठीक है, 10% से ज़्यादा होता है, we put that particular in a caution list also. ठीक है, so it is 5% true. Reduction in invoice value can never be allowed if exporter is in caution list. This is also correct. Okay? The only statement incorrect is third. So 1 2 4 5. 1 2 4 5 means option C should be right answer for this particular one. ठीक है, तो आपका who marked this correct answer? Aniruddha sir mentioned the correct answer. Otherwise everyone is wrong here. ठीक है, so it is आपका reduction limit is 25%, not 10%. रिमेनिंग स्टेटमेंट्स आर लाइक दिस. ठीक है, तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेटमेंट्स हैं. प्लीज डू रिमेंबर और ट्राई टू रिकॉल दीज वन. ठीक है, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. नेक्स्ट वन. ओके, एनीवन एल्स? हाँ, अनिरुद्ध सर सेइंग आपका ऑप्शन सी. आई विल आल्सो गो विद अनिरुद्ध सर बिकॉज दिस मेक सेंस. मेक पेमेंट्स अंडर द आपका रिजर्व एंड अगेंस्ट आइडेंटिफाई फ्रॉम द एक्सपोर्टर्स और सीक authorization from the LC issuing bank to negotiate dispute discrepancies. ठीक है, so this is like, see, आप लोग यहाँ तक सही थे. This statement is similar to this one. ठीक है, the second line. But make payment under the reserve or against indemnity from the exporters, that also allowed in this particular case. ठीक है, so this option D is similar to the second part of this particular one, but the first part of option C is also allowed. So option C should be right answer for this one. ठीक है, देखो, under post shipment finance involving export negotiated under LC, bank must ensure strict compliance with the LC for documentary code rules 2007 revision UCP 600 to guarantee payments. The discrepancies found in the bill of lading that is, and insurance certificates, wrong currency are common issue leading to the refusal of by the LC issuing bank. The bank cannot negotiate immediately without addressing discrepancies because the issuing bank has the right to refuse the payment if documents do not confirm. Okay, so what options we have? Okay, so what bank can do in this case? Okay, request the exporter to rectify the discrepancies. Okay, make payments under the reserve, conditional payments, or against indemnity from the exporters to protect the bank interest, or obtain prior approval from the LC issuing bank to negotiate despite the discrepancies. Rejecting the document outright, option B, or sending directly without negotiation, D, is not recommended since there are always safeguard interests while progressing the transaction itself. So that is the basic arguments for this particular one. ठीक है, तो please आपका इनका ध्यान रखिएगा. So these are the actions which we can do or which we can take during the like while we address these kind of issues. आपका चलो next one. ABC Exporter Private Limited submitted to export bill to their authorized dealers on July 1st, 2021. So these are the bill. One is side bill आपका, ठीक है. Another one is आपका Hussein's bill, ठीक है. So side bill and Hussein's bill. So a side bill drawn in USD LC and a 90 days DA Hussein's bill drawn in आपका pound, ठीक है, Great Britain pound, under a confirmed purchase order, not in LC. The exporter has a satisfactory track record and additional collaterals has been provided. The bank need to decide on the period or quantum of the post-shipment finance and the applicability of the concessional interest. आपका, ठीक है. So this is your problem, ठीक है. So this is your problem. So which of the following is most accurate regarding the financing terms and period for both bill? आपका क्या होगा correct answer इस केस में? ओके, वेरी नाइस क्वेश्चन. हाँ, जिसने पढ़ा होगा वही इसको बता पाएगा एग्जैक्ट टर्म्स के फॉर्म में आपका, ठीक है. एंड आई गॉट आंसर्स फ्रॉम पीपल, वेरी गुड गाइस, हु आंसर दिस. संतोष सर एंड पूजिशा मैम, वेरी गुड. बाकी की जनता क्या कहती है हमारी? सो क्या कहते हो दोस्तों, क्या होगा करेक्ट आंसर? यस, ऑप्शन बी फॉर श्योर, ठीक है. देखो, in this case we can give आपका 25 days, ठीक है. So bill 1 receive concessional finance for 25 days. Now these two statements are similar, but margin of 10 to 25% kept for the bill 2 आपका 115 days, which include 90 days Hussein's plus 25 NTP, ठीक है. So that is आपका 22 this, and so as per the rule option B must be right answer for this particular one, ठीक है. एक बार जल्दी से इसका रीडिंग कर लीजिए. खतरनाक क्वेश्चन है क्या? ठीक है, तो बिल 1 आपका साइड बिल इन यूएसडी अंडर एलसी. नेचर ऑफ बिल आपका डिमांड बिल. So 1st July to 25 days is allowed through the foreign export bills. Take due date 1st July plus 25, so that is 25th July is the date. Concessional period आपका only 25 days. In this margin आपका typically no margin is required in this particular case. Bill 2 आपका 90 days, that is in Great Britain pound. So it is Hussein's bill and the period of Hussein's is 90 days. That means the bill is payable after 90 days. So 90 days plus NTP 25 will be used in this case. So that and margin of 10 to 15%. ठीक है. So margin कहाँ पे? Since this is not under the LC, so margin हाँ. So this is not a case of अगर ये LC back होता तो margin was not required, but this is आपका non LC case आपका, ठीक है. There is no LC against this particular bill. That's why we are asking for 10 to 20. Range 10 to 20%, 25% of margin in this particular case, ठीक है. तो अब यहाँ पे क्या है ना, पोस्ट शिपमेंट, ठीक है. दिस इज अ सिचुएशन. हिमांशी मैम, ये जो आपका क्वेश्चन था ना, ये प्योरली आपका जो मतलब स्टेप्स आपके होते हैं, ये थोड़ा सा ना आपको पढ़ने पड़ेंगे ये वाले एरियाज, ठीक है. ये जनरली दीज आर द स्टेप्स जब हम लोग आपका कोई भी एलसी से रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम्स आती है, ठीक है, तो उनके रिगार्डिंग, ठीक है. लेट्स से हमारे केस में जैसे आपका इशू था, इशू क्या था आपका? आपका दिस वाज द इशू, ठीक है. इशू किसके रिगार्डिंग हमारा हो रहा था, ठीक है, फॉलोइंग एक्शन बैंक से रिगार्डिंग द नेगोशिएशन ऑफ एक्सपोर्ट डॉक्यूमेंट्स आपका, ठीक है. सो देयर वाज समथिंग मिसिंग इन दैट पर्टिकुलर बिल, ठीक है. जैसे हमारे उसमें क्या था, the make the payment under the reserve in this or seek authorization from the LC and all. ठीक है, we have to go through the shipping documents in this. हाँ, problem क्या था हमारा? Insurance certificate was undated first of all and drawn in a different currency from LC. Let's say your LC is drawn in rupee. आपका जो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी जो थी, इशुइंग कंपनी थी, उसने आपका डॉलर में इंश्योरेंस क्लेम का पेमेंट का दिया था, या फिर अनडेटेड। आपका अनडेटेड मींस जो डेट ऑफ एलसी है वो डिफरेंट है, और मतलब यहाँ पे और इसमें जो इंश्योरेंस है उसमें कोई डेट नहीं है, या फिर देयर इज अ डिफरेंस इन डेट आपका। ठीक है, जैसे जो पॉलिसी कवरेज आपका हो, यूजुअली हम शिपमेंट के दौरान कि जो शिपमेंट का टाइम ड्यूरेशन है वो कवर होना उसमें बहुत जरूरी है। ठीक है, अगर वो नहीं है तो कल के डेट में अगर डिस्प्यूट होगा तो प्रॉब्लम होगा। तो हमारे पास एक ऑप्शन है कि हम उसको क्या कर सकते हैं, आपका जैसे थर्ड वाला है कि हम इसको रिजेक्ट कर सकते हैं। बट व्हाट इज एडवाइस, मतलब अगर ऐसी रियल में कभी ऐसी सिचुएशन होती है तो क्या एडवाइस किया गया है इंस्टीट्यूशंस को, दिस इज द वन, कि हम लोग इस तरीके से इन स्टेप्स के थ्रू ऐसी प्रॉब्लम्स को, कि जहां पे दो डिफरेंट करेंसीज की इंश्योर आपका जो बिल जो इनवॉइस है या एलसी है वो ड्रॉन है आपका रुपए में, बट जो इंश्योरेंस का डे आपका करेंसी है दैट इज डॉलर। अब इसको कैसे टैकल किया जाए, तो वो जो मॉडिफिकेशंस या अदर्स जो हैंडलिंग ऐसे जो भी चेंजेस आपके होंगे उसके लिए ये आपके जो स्टेटमेंट्स थे जो यहाँ पे दिए गए थे। ठीक है, ऑलराइट, चलो ये क्वेश्चन बहुत अच्छा था, प्लीज ध्यान रखिएगा इसको, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बहुत बार पूछा जाता है। ठीक है, सो ये डेज आपका, इनको थोड़ा सा आप लोग याद रखेंगे। ठीक है, राजशेखर सर, यू कैन डाउनलोड दी क्लास प्लस एप्लीकेशन। ठीक है, सो क्लास प्लस एप्लीकेशन, और एल्स यू कैन पिंग मी ऑन टेलीग्राम। आप टेलीग्राम पे मुझे हाई भेजिएगा, प्लीज सेंड मी हाई ऑन टेलीग्राम और जस्ट issue also, so I'll share the link with you. ठीक है, so you if you'll download the class plus application and it will ask for the organization code, and organization code I'll mention here, it is ECXOIO। ठीक है, ये जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कोड है दिस इज सिमिलर टू योर इनको टर्म्स। हाँ आपका, ठीक है, ECXOIO। ठीक है, दिस इज द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कोड। राजा सर, अंडरस्टूड? Still if you are having doubt please do ping me on telegram, I'll help you out with this one। ठीक है, this code right now I just realized कि जो हम लोग ये पढ़ रहे हैं ना डॉक्यूमेंटेशन, it is something like this। चलो बताओ क्या होगा करेक्ट आंसर गाइस, व्हाट विल बी योर राइट आंसर फॉर दिस वन? थोड़ा सा हैवी क्वेश्चन है बट यू हैव टू बिल्ड दिस प्रैक्टिस। आपका अब ये टाइम है ना, ये वीक है, मतलब पूरा 6 days हमारे जो है। ठीक है, यू हैव टू हैव वर्क अराउंड दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स। देखो अब मतलब आपने बेसिक्स बना लिए हैं, आई एम अज्यूमिंग दैट। ठीक है, और क्योंकि मैं काफी महीनों से चिल्ला रहा हूँ कि आप लोग कर लो इसको करके। ठीक है, सो नाउ दिस इज द टाइम कि जहाँ पे आपको अच्छे लेवल के क्वेश्चंस को और ऐसे रीडिंग की हैबिट आपको डालनी पड़ेगी। ठीक है, सो वंस यू विल डन दिस पर्टिकुलर वन, तो दिस इज डेफिनेटली गोइंग टू हेल्प यू। ठीक है, क्योंकि एग्जामिनेशन में आपको ऐसे ही मिलेगा। चलो बताओ क्या होगा आंसर गाइज, व्हाट विल बी योर करेक्ट आंसर फॉर दिस वन? Mr. A, an exporter of pharmaceutical product based in India, he availed a pre-shipment credit foreign currency facility from XYZ Bank 5 lakh US dollar to procure raw material domestically. PCFC means आपका pre-credit foreign currency was sanctioned for 180 days. However, due to delay in shipment, the export bill negotiated by bank was not realized even 30 days after the due date. The bank internal policy allow crystallization of export bill 25 days post the due date. Additionally, Mr. A approached the bank seeking an extension of PCFC for another 90 days. क्या करोगे आप लोग इसका, आपका बताओ जरा। ठीक है, सो बैंक क्या करना चाहिए इसको आपका, द बैंक मस्ट इमीडिएटली क्रिस्टलाइज द एक्सपोर्ट बिल बिल्कुल इनटू INR as per the crystallization policy. First one only should be right answer for this one। ठीक है, the right scenario should be आपका first one only। ठीक है, in this because we are already आपका over। ठीक है, तो हमें आपका क्या करना चाहिए था, first one only will be right answer for this one। correct है ना? yes हाँ। So as per the Foreign Exchange Dealers Association of India, if the export bill is not realized by due date, the foreign exchange liability of the exporter continue until it is either realized or converted into INR। ठीक है, that is crystallized। ठीक है, bank permitted to frame their own policy on the number of days in our case it was 25 days, so that is over. Okay. Since the bank policy is 25 days, due date and 30 days have been already passed, so crystallization must be carried out now, fixing the rupee liability on the exporter itself. So that's why option A is the right answer for this particular one. Okay. As per the export policy, we can extend EPC or this to. That is mentioned here also, sir. ठीक है? See, that can be if you are making, that is something about the your that is something around the that report to EDPMS. ठीक है? That is something where like how we are using that money or how the crystallization is going to be, or let's say if you are receiving the part payments and all, and if you have some sort of excuses, and if your bank is taking those excuses, and the exporter is paying some sort of penalties, if they are agreeing with this one, it can be beyond 3 years also. 3 साल के बाद भी आपका हो सकते हैं संतोष सर आपका, ठीक है. सो ये 3 साल के बाद भी किया जा सकता है, बट इट इज अबाउट द ईडीपीएमएस अपडेट आपका, ठीक है, नॉट about this crystallization. Crystallization is different from that particular one. ठीक है. So that is bank policy. संतोष सर एक बार आपका दोबारा देखिएगा अगर कोई डाउटफुल इसमें आपका रहेगा, ठीक है. इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट प्लीज and even like if there is something else or some changes, please take a screenshot and share on the group also, ठीक है. तो I'll also cross check that one, हाँ, अगर ऐसा कुछ भी होगा तो. Otherwise like that is EPDMS वाला update is different and crystallization norms is different in this case. Which of the following statement correctly relate the gold card scheme? This get asked so many time आपका, gold card scheme for the value exporters आपका, ठीक है. So for the value exporters, and you have to find out the correct statement. SNRR, आपका डायमंड डॉलर अकाउंट्स, गोल्ड कार्ड स्कीम्स. सो दीज आर सम इंपॉर्टेंट एरियाज जो मतलब लाइक मैक्सिमम टाइम यूल सी either half marks or 1 marks question, or sometime it is आपका 2 marks question also, ठीक है. So you have to be very careful around those particular. अच्छे से इनको मतलब these are kind of a static things. Once you'll go through these particular areas, you will be able to make your understanding, ठीक है, समझ में आ जाएंगे. चलो बताओ. तो फर्स्ट आपका लार्ज, ओनली लार्ज एक्सपोर्टर्स turnover above a specified threshold are eligible for gold card scheme. Bank are required to process request from gold card holders within 25 days for a fresh application, 15 days for renewal, and 7 days for ad hoc credit limits. Exporter who are blacklisted by ECGC or have overdue export more than 10%, the annual turnover, are ineligible for this particular one. Gold card scheme mandate that every bank must provide internet banking and international debit cards and all. Then under the scheme, bank may consider waiver of collaterals and ECGC insurance requirements based on the exporter's credit worthiness and the performance track. So see, this statement is wrong. This is for all. All the value exporters, either it is small or big, आपका, ठीक है, there is no discriminations, ठीक है, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है कि छोटे के लिए या बड़े के लिए. First of all, bank are required to process request for gold card holders. This statement is wrong. All dates are correctly mentioned. This statement is also correct. 10%, the previous year overall turnover value 10% outstanding, 10% and more, and आपका blacklisted आपको by the ECGC, तो ये आपके eligible नहीं होंगे. This statement is wrong. Gold card scheme mandate, there is no mandate आपका, ठीक है, there is no mandate. But nowadays bank they generally provide add-on services to their customers, so they can attract more and more customers, right? But there is no mandate, and this is correct आपका, ठीक है. So 235 means option A must be right answer for this particular one. Correct? Hai? Yes. So supplementary services like ATM, internet banking and all, there is no mandate. And scheme open for all credit worthy exporters, including those in small medium sectors, not just the large one. ठीक है, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Which of the following statements regarding the EDPMS export data processing and monitoring system are correct. Okay. Export data processing and monitoring system. So we have EDPMS and we have IDPMS. ठीक है, दोनों ही आपको यहाँ पे मिलेंगे. ठीक है. Last year the question was around the IDPMS, तो आपको लोग expect कर सकते हैं. EDPMS allow bank to process shipping bill and monitor exporters' performance, including caution listing on a unified platform. ठीक है. Under the EDPMS, separate XOS reporting by the bank continue to be mandatory for tracking export bill outstandings. Okay. The third one is bank are required to record both current and past advances, remittances received from the exporters. Okay. RBI independently update the caution list. Okay. RBI independently update the caution list exporters without any input and recommendations from authorized dealers. Export data related to each B category branches is periodically shared with the respective branches by the bank for the follow-up with the exporter itself. Okay, so what will be a correct answer? What will be a correct answer? Statement 1, EDPMS processing bills and monitor this 100% true. Yeah, this statement is wrong. Nowadays this is not required. Okay? Earlier it was required, but now it is not mandatory. Okay? To submit the आपका outstanding and all. Okay? It is automated through the EDPMS itself. Okay? Bank are required to record both current and past advances, remittances received for exporters. In this one, any, like let's say we did some export and we have received some advances, or the other one आपका even any जो पिछला कोई भी बकाया आपका क्रेडिट होता है, so that will get we have to make entry around that particular one. RBI independently update the caution list. No, this is also wrong. Basically, authorized dealers, they escalate the issues regarding the caution and decaution of the आपका exporters, and this is also correct. So 135 means option A should be right answer for this particular one. Correct है? Yes. आगे बढ़ते हैं next one. Regarding forfeiting services, forfeiting, factoring and forfeiting is also part of your curriculum, and we have discussed this particular one so many times. So assuming and expecting right answer for this one. Yes, हाँ, बिल्कुल 100% true, Pujisha ma'am. Option A again will be right answer for this one. Forfeiting provide 100% finance of the export receivables without recourse, backed by LC आपका. ठीक है, so it is backed by LC. It is, the statement 2 is wrong. Transaction can only be used for capital goods. No, the cost structure in forfeiting include commitment fee, discount and financing charges, documentation fee, but exclude any insurance related cost आपका. ठीक है, a forfeiting transaction, the bill of exchange must be accepted by the importer and guaranteed by his bank. A process referred to availing the bill. True. Commitment fee is forfeiting is non-refundable. This is wrong. So 134, that means option A is the right answer for this particular one. Correct hai? Chalo, next one. Which of the following statement correctly differentiate between factoring and forfeiting? This type of question you can expect. Factoring, forfeiting के ऊपर आपका एक single question for 1 marks. They can ask you for the comparison between these two. बताइए क्या होगा correct answer? और ये बहुत आसान क्वेश्चन है, 1 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन हो सकता है. ठीक है, क्या होगा करेक्ट आंसर आपका? व्हाट विल बी योर राइट आंसर? व्हाट विल बी योर राइट आंसर? यस, हाँ. So this statement is true, this is wrong, this is correct. Factoring is basically where our bank, they work as a factor on an open account basis. ठीक है, एक open account basis पे मतलब उस एक्सपोर्टर के सारे ट्रांजेक्शन्स को हम लोग हैंडल कर रहे होते हैं. ठीक है, वी जनरली डिस्काउंट फॉर अ वैल्यू ऑफ 75 to 80% आपका. ठीक है, ऑन बिल टू बिल बेसिस आपका. ठीक है, इस तरीके से, एंड इट रिमेन ऑन लाइक काइंड ऑफ, इट कैन बी आपका विद और विदाउट रिकोर्स. ठीक है, इन केस ऑफ फैक्टरिंग. बट फोरफिटिंग इज वन टाइम ट्रांजेक्शन. ठीक है, एक बार हमने जैसे कोई एक्सपोर्टर है उसने हमारे साथ किया, अगली बार किसी और के साथ किया, and we discount 100% bill in that case, and it is always backed by LC, so it is always आपका विदाउट रिकोर्स। अब यहाँ पे वो स्टेटमेंट्स जो आपको गलत है, फैक्टरिंग इट कैन बी विद और विदाउट रिकोर्स, ठीक है, एंड इट इज ऑलवेज विदाउट रिकोर्स, ठीक है, इट इज ऑलवेज without recourse, ठीक है, without recourse. So this statement is wrong. More commonly used for this, these two are correct. So 1 and 3 are correct. That means option B will be correct answer for this particular. Why C आपका सुजाता मैम? Option B. Option B will be right answer guys, ठीक है. 1 and this is wrong, ठीक है, तो ये आपका clear cut wrong है, ठीक है. Factoring can be done आपका with or without recourse, but forfeiting where we discount 100% of bill and it is always backed by an LC. अब LC से back है with or without recourse का मतलब है गारंटी, ठीक है, recourse मतलब some sort of collaterals आपका गारंटी. So that is already that is आपका forfeiting is always backed by LC, so there is no guarantee required in that particular case. That's the logic behind this, ठीक है. So B will be right answer for this one. IDPMS. So the statement around the IDPMS and you have to find out the correct statement. IDPMS and you have to find out the correct statement. बताओ दोस्तों क्या होगा आंसर आपका, ठीक है, IDPMS and you have to find out the correct statement. Please go through all the statements. The system was launched by RBI in 2014-16. अच्छा, EDPMS or others, okay, I'm missing that date. I'll just check this one. Okay, Sujatha ma'am is saying option C. Okay, for the previous question, Santosh sir is saying option C should be right answer for this one. Okay, so IDPMS developed following recommendations of working group chaired by Sri A.R. K. Pandey, comprising a representative from the customers and customs आपका, ठीक है, DGFT, SEZ and Foreign Exchange Dealers Association of India and select authorized dealers. And IDPMS system was implemented on 10th of October 2016 to create unified platform for the custom RBI and banks to monitor this. Custom modified bill of entry format is include the authorized dealer code of the bank concerned, facilitating direct data sharing with the respective authorized dealers bank via IDPMS team. Authorized dealers bank are required to update the IDPMS database in real time with activities such as document submission, outward remittances data, submission of BEF statements to RBI on continuous dispute in the implementations. It should be आपका statement 4 is doubtful ना, it is something, ये जो डेटाज आपके लिखे हैं ना ये EDPMS के अराउंड लिखे हैं, ठीक है, submission out inward remittances and submission of BEF activities. Anyone who want to comment on this particular one, guys? And this B, I guess this statement is also abolished by RBI अभी जो है, ठीक है, this is not part of the system now. For the non-EDI port, the nodal branches of authorized dealers bank upload bill of entry, ठीक है, if it is for आपका non-EDI port, आपका the nodal branches of AD banks upload bill of entry based on the original document signed and stamped by the custom until these port are computerized. हाँ, this is correct आपका, ठीक है, but IDPMS के अंदर this is not required. In case of where we have non-EDI ports आपका वहीं पे required होगा. So 1, 2, 3, 5 should be right answer for this one, ठीक है. 1, 2, 3, 5 means option C should be right answer for this particular one, ठीक है. Okay, Pujisha ma'am is saying all correct. Okay, एक बार देख लेते हैं आपका इसको. Statement 4 is incorrect आपका. With the introduction of IDPMS, submission of BEF statement by bank has been discontinued since RBI can now access all relevant data directly through the system. The other statements are correctly around this particular one. Okay, so in case of non-EDI ports, it will be required. Otherwise, it is not required. ठीक है, हाँ बिल्कुल सही guys. चलो next one. Which of the following statement about trade credits suppliers and buyers credit are correct. This also get asked previous year also. ठीक है? Last year there was one question around the suppliers credit, ठीक है? Which is आपका trade credits, buyer and suppliers credit. You have to find out the correct statement. क्या होगा correct answer? So the maximum permissible period for the supplier credit for the import of capital good is 3 years, renowned from the date of shipments. ठीक है? If you are doubtful about this, this is 100% true. Buyer credit, buyer credit is arranged by exporter to finance the payments of import from a foreign bank or financial institution. ठीक है? Buyer's credit is arranged by exporters. Buyer's credit is basically, it is a form of आपका buyer's credit is, हाँ, it should be आपका seller's credit. ठीक है? In case of buyer credit, it is a normal loan आपका. ठीक है? This statement is wrong. The all-in cost ceiling for new foreign currency trade credit has been increased by 50 basis point over the benchmark rate due to LIBOR transition. ठीक है? True. The trade credit in Indian rupee can be raised for import. It cannot be used for import of goods under the extent of foreign trade policy. Authorized dealers category 1 bank can approve trade credit up to 50 million equivalents per import transactions आपका. ठीक है? This is also correct आपका. ठीक है? So 135 means option A should be right answer for this particular. हाँ बिल्कुल, everyone is right here. ठीक है? So buyer's credit is arranged by the importer buyer rates. It is a kind of a normal, a general loan आपका. ठीक है? Seller's credit is generally arranged by the exporter. ठीक है? जैसे if there is an exporter from US who want to sell their product in Indian market. Let's say I'm the buyer, I'm the suppliers in Indian market for the markers, but I do not have that much of money. So what they are doing, they are providing me finance. They are doing the financing things for me, and they are giving me the products to sell out across the country, and they are financing that particular one. And they are having some sort of रीपेमेंट साइकिल्स और ठीक है. सो वो चीजें आपका जो यहाँ पे देखने के लिए मिलेगा. ठीक है? यस यस, हाँ बिल्कुल संतोष सर, 100% ट्रू. सो स्टेटमेंट 4 इज इनकरेक्ट. ट्रेड क्रेडिट इन INR इज परमिटेड फॉर ऑल आइटम्स एक्सेप्ट गोल्ड आपका. ठीक है? यस.